Hey everybody. So today in this lecture, we're going to be introducing a new topic in Revit called phasing. So what phasing does is it adds a fourth dimension to the model. So if you remember when we talked about BIM, we talked about there could be, there's length, width, and height, which are the traditional three dimensions, right? And then you could add in cost and time, which might be a fourth and fifth dimension. So today we're going to talk about that fourth dimension of time. And the way you add time into the model is through this concept called phasing. So let me first give you a scenario which might help illustrate this concept better. So what we're looking at is a project that I worked on, and it's, I believe it was a high school. And it was an existing high school, and they wanted to add on a gym to their current school. So here's the existing gym. Here's the entryway, the big vestibule entryway to the school. And so what we did is we modeled the existing school. And you can see, the further away from where we were adding on. So just so you know, the intent here is to add a big gym onto this. And then we wanted to redo the vestibule. We wanted to enclose it. Right now, it's kind of like this open concept, and we wanted to enclose all of that. And then we wanted to redo the roof. And so we knew that was our scope. So you can see we modeled the school roughly very quickly because there's no reason to actually model all of this. So we quickly hurry and modeled that. And then we were more detailed in this area where we knew we'd be adding on to. So there's a lot more detail in the model here than there is here. You can see we didn't even bother to put a roof on over here. But anything that might get affected while we were working on the addition, we did model that area. Okay, so we modeled this in what's called the existing phase in Revit. So we set up a phase, which I will show you how to do today. We set up the phase, and we called it existing. So this is the existing school. This is all of the model elements that exist now. And then what we did is you create a new phase. And Revit, I'll show you when we get into that dialog box. It's like a timeline from top to bottom. So there's the existing phase, and then we created something called new construction phase. And the new construction phase is where we model all of the addition. So let me show you what that looks like. When you model it in the correct phase, you can then change the view to display different parts of the model differently. So here's the existing building, and I've got the view set to show the existing phase. Now, if I change it to new construction, you can see all of the existing building went gray because we're no longer in that phase. That's letting us know, okay, all the gray exists already, and then the colored stuff, the new stuff so the colored stuff is all the new stuff. So you can see here we filled in all of the vestibule. You can see the floor we redid the floor on the inside. So all of that looks new. And then you can't see it, but there were some windows and vents on the side of the old gym that we filled in. And so you can see the infill shows as new construction. And then even you can see these bright red. That's Revit's way of saying we are ripping something, we're demolishing something. And then because I have it phased, I can also go over here to the view, and there's different filters. Right now I'm showing everything. I could just show complete, and that won't show the demo stuff. It'll just automatically delete anything that got demolished in the new construction. So you can see those lights are gone. Instead of showing that they're red and they're going to be pulled off, I'm just showing that they're gone, right? And same with there was some stuff on the inside that got demolished that's no longer there. And then this phase filter, when you say show complete, you can see it's just showing you everything done as if it was already built. You can show just the previous phase plus the demolition. So if we just wanted to show what's being demolished from the existing phase, don't mind this wall. I don't know what happened when I upgraded this to 2024. This wall got put in and I can't do anything with it. Everything's grayed out. I can't even delete it. I don't know what happened. It was an upgrade error. So just don't pay attention to that wall. It's not behaving correctly. But here you can see, here's all the vents and the windows that we had to demolish. There are all the light fixtures we ripped off. And then we even got rid of some columns on the interior. So because I put the model elements, when I was modeling this, because I picked the right phase and I modeled it in the correct phase, I can now tell a story through time of what's happening. Another example is my house. Here's the existing phase. So here's a rough, I kind of built my neighbors' houses in quickly so that I could kind of see where they sit. And then here's my empty lot. And then there was just a lamppost on my lot. That's the only thing. And then I modeled my entire house in the new construction phase. And now you can see, oh, here's all the stuff I'm going to do during new construction. And then I even went so far, like if you look at the backyard, I even made another phase to help me plan more called landscape. And then it puts in all the stuff I intend to do when I landscape. Now, something else that's less common that you might use phases for is to just hide things you don't want to see that aren't meant to be part of the project. I did that as well. So I created a phase called Legend Components, and I use these to create different drawings that I want in the drawings, but they don't have anything to do with the actual model. So if I just hide them in a phase and I just never set the view to that phase, you'll never see it. So it can be used, its main purpose is to show a construction process through time. But you can also use that as a trick if you want to get some views, if you want to hide some model elements so that it never shows up in the 3D model, but you wanted to use it for some views that you're creating, you could do that as well. So I've used it all of those different ways. And so I just kind of want to show you that overview so you understand what we're about to do for this module. The other thing I want to show you, going back to that high school edition, let me show you the drawings, the construction documents. So this was a small project. It was just, we were just adding a gym, but you can see here are the drawings. And under architectural, you have your normal stuff that you'd have, but what the new item we have is what's called a demolition plan. And this is why you want to phase it in Revit. You're trying to get, everything we do in Revit is simply to create drawings. And so the reason we phase everything is so that we can produce the drawings that we need. So let me just show you. The first thing we do is to create a demolition plan. That's to tell the contractor, okay, this is what the existing building looks like, and this is what we want removed from that existing building. So they know the first thing they do is they come in, they look at the demolition plan, and they start ripping stuff out. And this plan is key because they need to know what stuff stays and what stuff is being removed. And then after that comes the traditional floor plans. But even on the floor plans, we'll look at them, you'll notice the floor plan's job now on a remodel isn't just to tell them what the new construction is, but it's also to show the existing construction and how the new construction attaches to the old construction. And so because you have stuff in phases in Revit, you can show these things appropriately. So let's look at what a demo plan looks like. So demo plans, depending on how big the project is, there could be 20 sheets of demolition plans, but on this one, there's just one. And the point of it is to show the full scope of what's being removed. So in order to fully show what we needed to have done, we created a demolition floor plan, which you can see down here at the bottom. We did an existing roof plan that shows what we're going to demolish on the roof. And then we did an existing elevation of just the wall. This was the only side of the school that was going to be changed, so we just did the one spot. But like I said, if you were going to remodel the whole outside of a building, you'd probably have a lot more exterior elevations, right? So let's just look at the floor plan. You can see, you could try to clearly label what's existing and what's, and what the rooms are. So existing gym, existing boys locker. And we only picked the portion of the building that would be affected by the new remodel. So we don't show the whole school's floor plan. It's just an area plan of the affected area. So everything that's existing and is going to stay and we're not going to demolish, you can see it's all solid lines. Stuff that we're going to remove becomes dotted. And again, Revit will automatically do this for you if you use phasing correctly. So you can see we're having them rip out a bunch of stuff in between the columns. You can see that we're pointing to the lights. We're removing the doors and we're pointing to the doors and have notes just like the lights. And then if you go over, you can see remove existing door and frame, clean patch and repairs. Right? There's all these notes on what they need to remove. If you look at the exterior elevations, you can see we're pointing out all of the different windows that are going to be removed. You can see, again, here are the doors that are all going to get removed. And then same with the roof. We've hatched out the parts of the roof that are going to get ripped off and replaced. So all of that gets shown to the contractors through demolition plans. Then if we go to the next sheet, which would be our floor plan. Now here's the floor plan. Now we're in the new phase. So now we're trying to show what's the new construction that we're putting on. And so we've got the whole new gymnasium. And then you can see the old parts of the school, the existing parts, and we've grayed those out. Now, this is depending on the company you work for, they have different graphical standards. Revit can, it will halftone the existing building if you'd like. But to get it filled in like this, we actually used a filled region. But the point of this floor plan is to show what's existing and has been kept and what is new. And so any of the new stuff is going to be dark black, black, not dark black. Black is dark. And then again, we start to show like, oh, here you can see we filled in between the columns. We filled that all in with glass and we've put in a new vestibule. And we've left these doors be removed. And so now it's just a hallway through there. And then we call out, the details for how to attach to the new building. But now you can clearly see because of the phasing, here's all the existing stuff. And then here's the new stuff. If you tried to do this without using phases in Revit, it would mean you're modeling the new stuff in the same space as the old stuff. And then when you look at the floor plan, you're going to have to try to figure out, okay, how do I tell someone everything's all in the same place at the same time? So all of the stuff we demolished in here, the doors and the columns, they would all be showing right now. And we'd have to be trying to tell the contractor, okay, it shows here, but they're not actually going to be there. You need to remove them. It becomes confusing on the floor plans. So you use phasing to help sort stuff out. And then we could also look at some of the other sheets, even the finish plans or the furnishings plans. If we go to those, you can see here's the existing and it lets the contractor know you're just going to leave it alone. You're not going to try to put any new floors or anything. But then here, because you can see the hatch and it's in black, they know, okay, we're going to put a brand new floor in here. We're going to put a new floor in the vestibule. In addition to all the new stuff that we're putting in the new gymnasium that we're building right now. But the vestibule already existed, but this lets them know, okay, you still need to rip out the existing floor and put in a new floor, right? And we take care of that with our notes as well. So that's kind of a quick overview of what phasing is, why you would use it, and just some real world examples of it being used. So we'll get into how to do all this in Revit in the next video. I'll see you there.